Hey everybody, I'm Peter G from the Jim and Peter Show. Welcome back to another episode of The Angry Garage. Sit back and enjoy watching us dump our bucket, bitch, and spew. Remember, if we don't, we're gonna explode, and we do this for a reason, because you're not alone. You're not the only one going through hell. So, share with your friends. We know there's a lesson behind this. We love you guys. We do this for a reason. We love our children, and we have to have our heads together. Kick back and enjoy this week's episode of either Jim or myself bitching about something. But we bitch because it makes you feel better. Love you guys. Peace out. This was a tough week for me. As you may or may not know, last week prior, I got a phone call that my mother passed away. So I had to jump on a plane and go deal with that back in Florida, where I grew up. And I took my little girl with me. I took Anna, and she's 10 years old, and she kind of didn't want to go because it's hard. And for those of you who've already lost parents, I don't think there's much tougher than, well, there is losing a child, and I don't even want to get into that. But you know what I mean, and I know there's tons of people that have experienced it, but I never did. This is my first time, a grown man, and I'm losing my 93-year-old mother, and she could have been 150 and it'd never be old enough. But we had to fly home. So we get there. While I'm in my neighborhood, because my parents still have a house there, and I went to a local Circle K to go to the store, I run into somebody who's an old neighborhood acquaintance, and we didn't really hang out, but we've known each other for many, many years. And the guy's always been a little bit, not weird, but let me put it this way. He's just pissed off at the world. And it seems like it has gotten worse. Like everything sucks. They suck. This guy sucks. They suck. The world sucks. Everything sucks. Just lives in that kind of a world. So he looks at me and says, "Hey man, sorry about your mama." And I said, "Thank you. I appreciate it." I said, "It's, it is what it is." And I had to look on the bright side of a few things, but and he said, "I've been watching your show." And he goes, I go, "Great, thanks." He goes, "I don't get you guys, you and your buddy." He's a little bit southerny. And I said, "What do you mean?" He goes, "I've been watching." He said, "But what makes you guys so uppity and talking about this kind of stuff?" He goes, "Where you come off thinking you guys know what the hell you're talking about?" I go, "Well, I do, but I don't." I said, "I've lived it." I said, we try to crack a few jokes, and I've just realized that through my own experience that people need somebody to lean on. Everybody doesn't have people to talk to. I was kind of fortunate. Jim, he's got his own set of problems. I've had mine, still do. It's a bitch, but we do this because I felt I found a niche in trying to help people because there's tons of them out there. Whatever, he says, but he goes, I don't get it. I go, "Then why are you watching it?" And he goes, "I'm just watching to see what you guys, what kind of bullshit you guys are." And I go, "All right, but then you're a fan." And all of a sudden, he just looked at me real funny, like, "Huh?" He goes, "I ain't a fan." I go, "You've been watching it?" He goes, "Yeah, but I'm just..." So in other words, he's just wanting to watch me go down, is what he's saying. He's wanting me to fail. And it's like, it ain't going to happen. And I looked at him, I go, "Dude," I said, "we are just growing, changing." I said, "But you watching me," I said, "you're really helping me out, and I appreciate that." And he just kind of I turned it around on him. He kind of got pissed off because he wasn't trying to do that. He was trying to take me down into his portion of his mind. I'm going to be another piece of shit, and I refuse. And then he looked at me and he says, "Well, I just don't see where you guys are coming from." And he says, "What makes your show so special?" And I go, "Dude." And he's looking at me, and I paused for a second. I go, "We got a theme song." And I just looked at him. I go, "Jim and Peter." And I said, "Look, I got to go." And I think I stunned him because I wasn't going to let him take me where he was trying to go. As I left, once again, I'm an afterthinker. I constantly thinking about him because I said, how friggin' pitiful. How much energy does this guy suck up and suck out of people feeding on misery? Continually, always being angry and just spreading it around, wanting everybody else to be pissed off and angry too. It's pathetic. This man's a grown man. He's older than me. And I kept saying, it's like, There's tons of people like this. There's tons of people like this. Some people were brought up, they had shitty parents, and again, this is what we're all about. But when does it come to you're a grown adult and you realize, why am I just so friggin' pissed off all the time? My life isn't going good, and I just continue to just keep blaming everybody and blaming everything for my life or their life. And it's bullshit. And I just had to call them out a little bit in a nice kind of way. But I think about it, it's like, you know what, not everybody had great parents. I mean, I get that, you know, I did pretty good. I'm very thankful. That's why it hurt so bad to have to bury my mother. Because good or bad, there was times when I was a kid, my old man beat my ass. But there was good reason for it. And I'm very thankful. I am not perfect by any means, but I'm a pretty decent guy. I'm very thankful. If I wasn't, I don't think I'd have this many people, you know, that would support us and believe in me. You know, you get what you put into it. I'm always somebody who tries to reach out. It's hard to get to everybody. But now through this social media and things like that, it's making it much easier. But I used to individually, Christmas cards, this and that. I go out of my way and just do what I can. Because I love my friends. I love people. There's a lot of good people in the world. But there's miserable people, and they just want to take you into their world and suck the life out of you too. And you can't let that happen. But when do you become an adult and go, okay, I can't live like this? But some people do. They refuse to try to find the good in their life or make some change. And I'm doing this video basically because I hope that this guy is watching this, because I'm calling you out. And many other people. And many of you know people that are just like this. You got to reach out to them and try to slap them in the head. They may not like you, but what's the difference? They don't like you anyway. Or if they like you, they just want to make you miserable. So you got to help them in a way. Sometimes you need to be woken up. And it's not the funnest thing, but it is what it is. Upon the wake before the funeral, day before the funeral, I had to go, and it was visitation, and they let the family come an hour before people come in. And my father, my daughter, and myself went to the funeral home. And I left my father and my daughter in another room, and I went to go see my mother. And it was hard. Real hard. She looked good for considering. They did a great job. But it was hard. And all my mind kept thinking is, I'm going to be a mess. I'm going to be a wreck. I just don't want to be just sitting there crying. Because people, you know, they come to support you, but even though they're coming to support you, your emotions get crazy because, you know, they're here in tears and I mean, they really care, and I love them for it. I love each and every one of you. I mean, you have no idea how many texts and Facebook, you know, comments and personal messaging and all that, and I haven't even had a chance to get back to anybody, and I hope that it's just too many to cover. But you know I love you guys. I can't say it enough. I try to show it in my everyday life and in my past, but this is why I got that pouring outreach, because people that I've known cared, because I care about my friends and family. I love my friends and family. To me, life is good. You don't have to be rich. We weren't rich. We still aren't. Gone through hell. Anyway, but we survive. And I'm still thankful for a lot of things, especially for my health. You could be rich and dying, and all your money doesn't do shit for you. So I'm there in front of my mother's body, and I'm pacing back and forth in front of the casket. It's open. And I'm praying to my mother to give me the strength to get through the evening, because I didn't think I could do it. Because your mind starts twirling, and it's just nothing but sorrow and hard feelings. And I'm just pacing back and forth, and I stare at her for a little while, and it's just surreal. That's the only word, and some people have chimed in. It is surreal. It just doesn't seem possible. But it was. I paced back and forth, and I kept praying, and I kept asking her to get me through this. And I did. I don't know how the hell I did it, but I did. Came time, a couple of people started arriving, talking to a lot of people. You're standing in front of her. They're right there. My father, I'm worrying about him, because he was starting to lose it a little bit. He just kept standing there looking at her. 61 years of marriage, by the way, people. Wasn't the greatest marriage, but 61 years of marriage, and towards the end there, my father really stepped up to the plate tremendously, beyond what I ever would have expected of him, and he regained my enthusiasm for, being a husband. He redeemed himself, because he wasn't the greatest, but he definitely cared. He really showed. But I'm just, as people came and he was standing there, and I hear him mumbling. He's like, "She left me. She'll always be right here." But the thing was, if it wasn't for the love, I have a point here somewhere. If it wasn't for the love of everything, you wouldn't have these emotions. I tried to tell my daughter, I said, it wouldn't hurt so bad if we didn't care for him. If we didn't care for him, it wouldn't be no big deal. But we do. And that's the thing. And you have to be grateful for your life and try to give. And this is where I'm at with this whole deal. So we wrapped it up the next day, the funeral. It was hard. My daughter was having a hard time with that too, but I was so proud of her. She's an old 10-year-old. She's not your average 10-year-old, but I couldn't have done it without her. I mean, I would have if I had to, but it was a tremendous, good, yet, I don't know how to put it. She needed to be there. As hard as it was, it's something she will take with her in life and will never forget. And as hard as it was, it's just something sometimes you have to do what you have to do. And that's part of me being a parent, because I try to be the best parent I can based on what I've learned. And I make my mistakes, not too big, thank God, because she's number one. I stopped doing what I do for me to make sure I do for her. And that's the difference. We got through the funeral, and next morning, we're flying home. And I did all this thinking on the plane, and I just wanted to touch base with you guys and thank you for all the pouring support. And I'm flattered. I'm humbled, and I won't do this again for a very long time, but I just wanted to talk about that guy because it bothered me, because life is too damn short. Why should you go around in life being freaking miserable? I got a lot of friends that just have lots of great ways of being positive. I'm not the best at it. I mean, because when things suck, things suck. But I get out of it, and I keep pushing forward. I don't let it stop me. But I like to bitch about stuff, as you well know. I mean, but only because it lets it out. You explode if you don't. So, once again, I thank you guys. Please, I know you're liking the show. Like our official Jim and Peter Show page, please. Share this stuff weekly. It does a whole lot of good. Again, to me, you just don't know who you might be helping. And we deeply appreciate it. 2017 is going to be a big year for us. We're getting there. The holidays are coming up. We got a lot of things. I don't know what to throw in from week to week because we have lots of things in the can just ready to put out there. All these different ideas we have. But the show's growing, and we're going to hopefully have a few more better jokes. Today wasn't exactly a funny day because it's Angry Garage. So take it for what it's worth. But I deeply appreciate everything you guys have done for me over the past week. Don't think it goes without notice. I just can't get to all of you, but I'm hoping you all get to see this, and that way I can express my appreciation to you. I love you guys. Thank you for watching the Jim and Peter Show. This is Angry Garage, and I promise we'll move on to different things next week. But I had to do this, and I think it's probably good for everybody. Love you with all my heart. Peace out. Jim and Peter.